Thank you very much, Jackie, and thanks so much for asking me. It is so nice to be back in Hull. I love Hull, and it's always a complete pleasure to come up. I've been a freelance writer and journalist now. I have been freelance before, then I had a staff job at the BBC, as Jackie said, then I had a job at the Sunday Times, then I had a job at the Telegraph. Now I'm completely freelance. I've been completely freelance for about 5 years, and I have to say I have never, ever been undressed while writing my stuff. I'm sure Stu has his moments with or without trousers, but I am always completely dressed with shoes on when I work, unless it is really early in the morning, in which case I'm sometimes in a sort of vague sporting outfit. But anyway, that's to do with my other love, which is running. The other interesting thing, which will apply to probably none of you at the moment, but might do in time, is that I also have 4 children. Freelance working is an absolutely brilliant thing for anyone who wants to have children and look after children themselves. It dovetails fantastically. I've always said that the one of the greatest tools of feminism is the smartphone and Wi-Fi, because it really does allow you to have your cake and eat it. You can be at home with your kids and have a proper full-time career. People say, oh, are you working part-time? No, I don't work part-time, I work full-time, but I'm also at home looking after my children. So that's very jolly, but probably none of you will. You might remember this in about 10 years' time, but anyway. The other thing that people say, people who aren't a hack, as I love to describe myself, say, it's all over. It's over. Print is completely over. Is it over? No, it's really not over. I mean, probably none of you get a newspaper delivered. I absolutely love newspapers, and I've always had one delivered first or 2 or 3 first thing in the morning. But obviously, communication is going to stop just because circulation of actual papers is declining. Because it's simply, as James has expressed, moved into different areas. I mean, yesterday, however, papers, people still love newspapers. Yesterday on train, it's so interesting yesterday watching people in the Standard, which has had a huge circulatory because it's now free, passing around to each other, swapping it. Every single person was one carriage, everyone was reading the Standard. That's a remarkable thing for something which was invented about 500 years ago. And that leads me on to an absolutely crucial thing for being a journalist. You've got to be a consumer. If you want to participate, you have got to read newspapers a lot. I think that, I'm really, I grew up in a completely medical background. My parents are doctors, and all my siblings are doctors and nurses. But my parents love newspapers. We've always had loads of newspapers, so I've always read newspapers right from a really early age. And you absolutely must read 2 or 3 newspapers every single day, online or not. I prefer, I read both, but you must read newspapers because and listen to proper speech radio and watch the news on television, see how it's disseminated, see what the different branches points out, watch the same story unfolding. Look at the Grant Shapps advert about the budget, how the budget knocked off money off beer and bingo, and see how that has moved in tabloids. Yesterday's story was referred on television this morning, on breakfast this morning, George Osborne was talking about, see how these stories are mediated through the media, and see how they're picked up by different commentators. A lot of newspapers these days, because you can't compete against 24-hour news, instant news, a lot of newspapers is comment. And that is what makes people loyal to certain newspapers, be it Hull Daily Mail, Times, or the Indie. People love to read their commentators, even if they feel close to what they have to say about it. So get used to these people, understand what it is to have a voice, and try and develop your own voice. But you absolutely must read the papers every single day. And see how a story bounces along. and see whose voice you rate. What is a story? That is an absolutely crucial thing which I, after doing drama at Hull, I had a disaster at the Edinburgh Festival. I went up with a play and thought it was going to be marvellous. It was absolutely awful. We all lived miles out. All we had to eat was industrial-sized tins of clean peaches, and the whole thing was ghastly. And we walked into everybody did our set. No one came to see our show. I then did a spin-off show, which was a rap version of the High Piper Canon, and that was a complete disaster. Interestingly, the show we were in was written by someone called Peter Morgan, who then went on to write famous quote Frost Nixon and Queen and various other things, but then he wasn't famous, nor were we. And I realised actually that what I was interested in was all the arts. I wasn't interested, I wasn't really that interested in my own abilities as an actor. What I was interested in is nosing around in that gallery and that show. So I decided to be a journalist and trained as a reporter at London College of Printing, which is now called London College of Communications. And they taught you to spot what a story is. And that has become my mortgage ever since. I've got my antenna out for a story 24/7. Whenever I'm awake, I'm looking for a story. So if I'm sitting at a dinner party and someone says, this actually happened, I say, what do you want? I won't believe brothers. So what did you do there? So well, I'm actually in the deodorant testing department. Obvious story. So what do you do? She said, well, actually, do you go right up to people's armpits? You go right up to the armpit and sniff it like this. It's a fantastic story. I actually got offered a job on the strength of that story because I did it for the Indian photo with someone in a white coat with a clipboard and a pen, a woman, because women's olfactory senses are better. Did you know that? No. And anyway, a whole bunch of men all doing this, and this woman smelling the armpits, and the men had to eat curry and then go and play badminton, and then have their one armpit roll with the Lever Brothers and then one with the Control, and then see what like that. So hilarious. Story. Equally, I decided for reasons only known to myself as a sort of man known to go around the world, but never leaving France, visiting all the tiny little islands and slithers of jungle and stuff which are still properly French. This is not some old colony like Côte d'Ivoire. These are actually places which are as French as the Isle of Wight is English. And I discovered that they go absolutely round the globe. I can bore you about this in private afterwards if you want to know who they are. But obviously to a journalist, the fact that they go all the way around, not just dotted here and there, that's the story. So children off, went around, had a journey, madness. We ended up selling a series of 6 documentaries for the Travel Channel. My husband was the cameraman and director, I was the presenter. The children met really useful, jumping around, helping, speaking French, carrying kit. They did none of that, they were incredibly rude. They sobbed every time they click and learn. They hated everything French, refused to speak French. They'd all given up French at school. I played sort of Piaf and sort of Jack Bell, the house had become weird. It's absolutely hope. I say bonjour, as they say, fuck off. I enjoyed it. And, I did have the experience of, I also gave a huge contract to some types to do this bad story, which was, I went to the session. So I went with a really lovely, big interview. The interview of the news review, that was my slot. Came back, my slot was disappeared, my contract ran that big. It was just a monumental fiscal disaster. However, I have gone through the jungle thing we are, which is where Happy was set in Devil's Island and all those things. It bit my black hands with my children. And it was a hilarious and wonderful experience. And it was something which you can't take away from me. And there's only so many times you can interview Joe Brand, of which more later. But so journalism, it has given me the most. I'm not a war reporter. I'm not. My husband is a sort of. He's a current affairs. He should really be here. He's a sort of secret squirrel, secret camera. He does current affairs and hard news. He does fantastic investigations on kids, politicians, and thugs and people beating up up mentally disabled adults and all that kind of stuff. Works and has worked with MAD, reporter Dover McIntyre, and so he's done all that kind of stuff. I do, hopefully engaging features, engaging stories. I've had a lot of travel. I've travelled all over the world. I've had, like Jamie, just wonderful experiences, which you can't enjoy them just with experience. You have to be thinking, this is a story, I'm going to do my best to transmit this to readers and listeners and viewers, and what a fantastic privilege that is. It's crucial if you want to be to become aware of multifarious ways of doing FFA. I've talked a lot about comment, but there's big features, there's colour pieces, there's reviews, there's straightforward news. And it's important when you're sort of thinking about a story, you think, the best features, the things I really love sort of hunkering down writing, are things where you can have a sort of multi-layered approach. So, for example, it was Scout Association's 100th birthday 2 years ago, I think. Yeah, 2 years ago. And I've done lots of stories about Scouts and Brownies and so on. And I was invited to a big world jamboree of Scouts in Sweden with 40,000 Scouts. So you think, okay, that could be a story, but it could just be a bit of PR. And anyone who says, I want to do PR and journalism, please do not. Please don't. PR is completely different from journalism. Be a PR person, that's absolutely fine. You cannot be both. It's like poacher and gamekeeper. You really can't. Because PR, you're paid to promote something. Journalism, you're paid to give your own view. Well, you're paid to either report straightforward what's happening or give your own opinion on everything. And they're really very different. So I thought, okay, with the Scouts, this could be funny. And if I go, I've got to camp with the Scouts, with 40,000 Scouts in the field in Sweden, it's been absolutely poured rain for about 2 weeks, and I was in there for 5 days. Thank God. But what resulted from it was a sort of multifaceted piece where it started off with I am sitting in a tent eating hideous food with these guys who are about to build something out of long poles. Scouts will go mad about poles and buildings for no point, but it's fun. And then on top of that you need to build in a whole thing about you need to go larger, and build in the whole thing about why Scouts are important these days and what they can offer and why it was so important they dumped God and why it was important. And for young children in Nigeria, often the choice is the army or the Scouts are different parts of Africa. So the Scouts offer will escape for children who are facing terrible futures. And on top of that, you have a bit of celebrity glitter because Bear Grylls is a chief scout. So, I had a lovely interview with Bear, as we all came to know him, in the piece. Now, if Bear had been willing or up for it, then the piece wouldn't work because you need to have that multiple thing of Rosie Millard experiencing something, kind of in a hopefully funny way, an overarching point about what is this uniformed children's thing all about, and then an interview with Bear Grylls. Well, I was really, there's the other crucial thing which I think Stuart touched on, really crucial to change your mind, to be able to change your mind. And as an artist is my background, there have been so many artistic events I've turned up thinking, this is going to be so crap, and I've been amazed, or this is going to be absolutely wonderful, I've been absolutely horrified. It's really important to sort of change your mind in a notebook and to be able to do that. Now, Bear Grylls is a good example because I absolutely hated Bear Grylls. Okay, I sat on the flight going to Sweden, and I read his biography. And first of all, he went to Eton, so that means he's a total arsehole in my view. Not that I'm prejudiced or chip on my shoulder, but yeah. So I thought, I really hate you, Bear. And I obviously he's got a stupid name. He's obviously an overprivileged wanker. And I carried on reading the book. And Bear Grylls, after he went to Eton, he's really thick as well. He's got no qualifications. He went to some poly in Bristol. And he wanted to be in the army, he wanted to be a Marine. And he left, got no qualifications at this poly. and went to the Marines and had a parachute, jumped over, the parachute didn't open, and he was injured in the jump. And they said to him, your career as an active soldier over, but you can work an office job in the army. And I don't want to do that. He thought, right, I'm going to climb Everest. And so he wrote to his people like Richard Branson. Now, you thought Bear Grylls eating, oh God, he's going to get, I really hate this now, because he's going to get loads of money from Richard Branson, it's all going to be funny. But anyway, Richard Branson said, no, this is, I'm not interested. Sorry, I was just swearing. I'm a journalist, we're allowed to swear, my children just go over their heads. Actually, it's really good parenting tip. If you have no problem about swearing, your children won't swear. Because I think it's kind of like, counterintuitive not to swear, so it's quite handy. So my children never swear, my husband swears all the time. Anyway, so Bear goes to Richard Branson and says, can I? Richard Branson, no. So he gets to find some tiny company called Everest, not Everest Double Days, some other tiny insurance company called Everest. If I go up Everest and hold the banner up saying your name on the top of Everest, will you give me 2 rounds? And they said, yeah, okay. So he goes up to Everest. And I'm sitting there and suddenly, actually, this is quite moving. And the bit where Bear makes an ascent on the summit of Everest, and he's kind of sobbing behind his goggles, and he manages it, he gets up and shows the thing, he takes the photo. He comes back down again. And so I think, okay, so that's quite interesting. One other key, you please do your homework. If you're going to do a celebrity or going to review a show, just please go to your show, please don't wing it, because it's really rude, it's just rubbish, that doesn't disservice to the person you're doing and to the readers, reviewers, because you won't know what you're talking about. Anyway, so I get to the field in Sweden, and Bear is late, and it's raining, and I think I actually do hate it now. We often wait for Bear's people, Bear's beyond, Bear's big and more annoying. And Bear kind of comes over through this sort of splashy glen, which we're all kind of having to camp in for weeks on end. And he looks at me, and he says, hi, Rosie, hi. I said, hi, I'm Tony. And he just says, he looks to one of his people and said, get someone a cup of tea. And I thought, Bear, I love you. This is fantastic. So tea arrives here. Within about 2 seconds, I'm eating up Bear's hand. I'm massive about Bear. I don't know what. And I was just got on brilliantly well. I had this thing. We talked about Everest and so on and so forth. And then he said to me, I said, how was it when they rumbled you for staying in the travel lodge and you were meant to be bivouacking on Matterhorn or whatever? And he said, it was awful. It was really awful. People would shout over the street at me, and the tabloids turn me over. It was just misery. My life was just awful. And he said, the great thing about being Chief Scout is that people start crossing the road and shaking hands, saying, Bear, sons of God, what you're doing is fantastic, Bear, really great. He said, I really needed scouts. And, the other half of the story I got was that the scouts we really needed Bear, because we were, people were leaving us and blah, blah. So it made a very nice sort of piece, sort of a bit jeopardy, a bit humble, celebrity, kind of crime, it was actually crime, but it's a really crime. So you had a very nice story, and a very nice multi-layered piece, which this wasn't a sort of 200-word thing, this was a huge, big story of the FT, but it kind of worked because you've done a bit of digging under, and it was just such an engaging thing to work on, and sort of stayed with me. It was really important, I felt, important stories to write, and a laugh as well. And it surprised people. You've got to surprise people with your work. What is the point in confirming what people already know? You've got to do a bit of homework, a bit of... And when you're with a celeb or you're interviewing them, no matter who they are, you've got to find out something about which is going to surprise your readers, which is going to keep them reading. People often say, oh, when you're on the red carpet, which is a misery. You think it's fun, this sort of trench mentality you have with everyone else beside you. You have to be daring, you have to ask them the question that no one else wants to ask. And I always think, well, you're never going to meet these people again, hopefully. So just ask it. It just doesn't matter. You'll get a better story for it. 5 things never to do, okay? Never be late. Really, never be late. It's just, let the interview be late, let the event be late, but please never be late because you'll miss it. Do your homework, we've discussed that before. Spike Lee won't interview you if you haven't seen his films, it's quite likely you just have to see it. Do not make it up! Oh my goodness, I had something the other day, I had to find someone with gum disease. And I thought, I rang my sister, I said, you have gum disease? She said, no, she said, I was just making it up. I said, you can't make it up. Yeah. You can kind of embellish quotes, I suppose, a little bit. You cannot make up stuff. It's really tempting when you're given some nightmarish thing to find some very specific thing. You know, I had to find a woman over 40 who had gum disease because I was writing. And you just have to keep going and be inventive and be determined, and then you'll suddenly find. Once I had to find a whole bunch of people. I was working on this mad program in Newcastle, and there's a Newcastle song when the boat comes in, which goes so dance. It's a classic northern folk song. And I was interviewing this artist, this performance artist, whose idea was that he would get locals to line up, shout out their surname, and if you got them all together, their surnames would provide the body of the song. Okay, you're all with me? So I had to sit one whole weekend ringing up people like Mr. Fish or Mr. Daddy, and say, will you come and stand in the field in Newcastle and shout out your name? And it was just completely, and we did it. We managed to get about 40, 50 people all in order, singing this song. Madness. But actually, it was a laugh to actually have the challenge to do that. So don't make it up. Be up for changing your viewpoint, and as Stuart said, be fast, always deliver to length, no more. I had a child, I was the arts editor at New Statesman for a while, and I was a really crap editor, actually, I have to say, because I was so useless at changing people's work from 60% bad, good to 90% good. I basically ended up rewriting their copy, which is not good. You should send it back to them and say, this is how to do it, and I just couldn't do that. But what I got really fed up with was people filing stuff which was just far too long. And we say, can I have 1,000 words, and people laugh like you get 2,500. Really good and established critics. It just was unprofessional and annoying. The other thing I learned from them, women, listen up, is that men are much pushier than women at pitching stories. I would walk into the States, this is the New Statesman, which pays zero for art. It pays a bit, but not very well. My phone would be ringing, hello, they'd say, oh, it's the man. With you've got to tell stories. Okay, it's quite a good story. Okay. And then if I said no, this man would be ringing up the next day and the next day. Men are much pushier. So really, women, be pushy. Men are doing it, you must do it too. Believe in what you write. I have met Samantha Brick, and I was prepared to think she was a nightmare. Actually, she's really sweet, and she absolutely believes in what she, I write a lot of my pieces in the Independent. The editor knows some of my things, like I hate being Newton. So whenever there's a piece about state education, he'll ring me up, because I really believe in what I'm saying. I don't just make up rubbish, I believe in it. Things you have to learn. You have to learn how to pitch your story in one line. There is no point in ringing up an editor. This is why Twitter is brilliant, because you can just say, I was mugged and I punched the mug up, which is something I did. Although my children said, well, you didn't really kick him, so it doesn't really count. Anyway, one-line pitch is absolutely crucial. If you can get your story into one line, that is going to really help. My first boss at Time Teas, he was one who never have meetings, he would just walk. And I'd have to run behind him and say, oh, Mike, look, I found a historian who focuses on Viking turds. Oh, yeah, brilliant. It's just, you have to be able to put it into headlines as well. Do not cry when your story is spiked. This will happen to you know, take it on the chin, pitch it somewhere else. I've had great success having stories turned down by the Guardian, written, commissioned, turned down, sold to the Mail, get paid twice. Fantastic. Your recording device will fail once. This will happen to you once in your career. What you have to do is well, what you have to do to check that doesn't happen is you must replay it and just play it again in the presence of the interviewee. I was once interviewing Edward Heath, who probably no one here will remember apart from Jane, but he was a really grumpy former Prime Minister, and I was interviewing him about music, and I was read this, read that, and I looked down and saw this is the wheels on my tape recorder weren't going round. So I just said, so Edward, summarise the whole thing, could you, for me, in just one sentence? I thought I was going to cheat at her, but he's such a brilliant politician, his manager, who just went, oh, and that's the whole story. Fantastic. If I hadn't checked that in his presence, I would have been completely stumped, I'd have gone back and probably been sacked. Yes, your technical recording device will fail. What happens in this instance is you have to go into a dark room and just write down everything you can remember about the interview, or you have to go back to the person. Send invoices and keep track of them. That sounds quite simple. It's just really boring and sort of dull, but if you're a freelance, you have to. And if you do get an accountant, as I have, there is a very, very good flat rate VAT thing, which all journalists can be on. I think all journalists are on top of this also, where you pay less VAT than you charge, which is really nice, because they all know that we have extra things to buy, like smart dresses and water dress. Write everything down. When you go somewhere, just write everything down. You're looking at everything, because you'll forget it. No, I'll remember that. No, you won't remember it. Write everything down. Always research every single name on your list. When you're going somewhere, and you say, write down all the names, ring them all up, contact them all on Twitter, whatever. Always do that. And always make a list. Don't go kind of winging it into something. Just always have a game plan, because in the excitement of getting the story, you might forget and you say, actually, I must go to do that Bear Grylls because we can tell the story. So you won't make a huge amount of money. You will encounter a lot of rudeness and disappointment, and vis-a-vis the online comments. Don't read them! My husband has come into the room and seen me sitting there weeping over comments. I mean, it is a bit like lining up a whole bunch of vodka shots and fun for reformed alcoholics and saying don't drink them. You ask their hat not to read the comments. But they are written by sad losers who sit in rooms doing nothing else other than writing horrid things to wonderful and respectable journalists. What I say to myself is what my husband says to me: do not take any of yourself, it's all bollocks. And you will have ego-crushing encounters with stars who just think you're just, Hugh Grant, so rude. You ask them something and they can't go, so that's an intelligent comment from somebody who went to university. You think, Hugh, you know what? It's your job to break your films, it's my job to report on it. Please, let's keep this nice. But in the end, you will read your words, you will see them online, you will hear them on the radio, or you will see them, because I'm a dinosaur, you will see the newspaper coming through the front door, and then you can stand in your nightie and open the thing, and there are your words there on the paper for everyone to see, your ideas, your viewpoint. It's absolutely fantastic. It is a fantastic privilege. It is an honour, and it's just such good fun. So good luck. With it. It's been a really great career, and I heard one of my children talk to someone else, and she was talking about her job or something, and she just said, "Is this as fun as Mummy's job?" I thought, well, there you are. It is. It's great fun, and it's really worth it. Thank you. Does anyone have any questions? How I started, how I intend to continue, God knows, it's because of famine, as you just said. If not, great, well, good luck. Oh, you want one question?
Who was your most difficult interviewee, and what did you do?
Oh, God, you always ask me this. I never have an answer. Well, people who just simply won't play ball are very, very difficult. Usually celebrities who are completely fed up with the whole sort of junket scenario. I've mostly, I'm not in that position anymore because I don't do those sort of rapid fire interviews, but you can sort of usually make, I mean, you usually make fun of them, which is quite handy. I mean, one story I did when I was at the BBC, I went to Las Vegas to interview a man called Steve Wynn, who owns a huge bunch of hotels in Vegas called the Wynn and the Bellagio and this and that. And he's quite a tricky piece of work. He's had all sorts of run-ins with tax people, I think. And the other thing he has is a fantastic art collection. I mean, really big art collection with Warhols and Van Gogh and Picasso and Matisse, and just fantastic. And that's what I was doing a piece on for the BBC about his gallery within this casino. It was quite interesting. Although they're both different forms of gambling, aren't they? Art collection. So I turned up. It is, I don't know if I've been to Las Vegas, but it was in about May. And it was like the surface of Venus. I imagine the surface of Venus is going to be absolutely boiling hot. And I was about sort of 6 months pregnant, and I was just turned up absolutely, it was very, very hot. However, we were all there. I researched his collection. I knew what I was going to do about the camera. It was a big deal for the BBC to let me go to Vegas because it was not Chechnya, it was not Syria, it wasn't really crucially important. It was quite a nice story. So I turned up with my producer, again, I had a member of staff at BBC with me, so extras and the camera. And the PA came out of the room with the Bellagio and just said, I'm terribly sorry Mr. Wynn has changed his mind. He doesn't want to do the interview. And I just thought, well, I'm going to be sacked immediately. This is an absolute bloody disaster. So I said, well, I have to just man to a room. I think I've got to live in this interview with Steve Wynn. Oh, I'm being sacked. And I've got, he said, come and talk to him. Because I think basically Steve Wynn thought I was he thought I was my husband, some sort of secret camera person, about to ask him questions about tax and so on, mafia connection, whatever. And he said, come in. And he was very brutal with me, and he said, what are these pictures on my wall? And so I just had to identify them. It was quite easy. I mean, if you see loads of faces in Marilyn, it's Andy Warhol. You see loads of scribbles, Van Gogh, it wasn't dissimilar scribbles. Okay, Jackson Pollock. So I said, oh, that's very nice, Jackson Pollock. Oh, lovely, Van Gogh. So I came back at 4 o'clock. Came back at 4 o'clock. Oh, Rosie, oh, you've came there. Oh my God, you're a completely different man. I mean, you just say man, obviously, but totally different. Did the interview. So that was fortunate, but I wrote a piece about that little incident. It was an insight into how these powerful people operate. I went to a surfing convention. There was no surf. So what do? How do you write your piece? Well, you just write about something else. In that case, it was about how gorgeous male surfers are. Someone's got to do it. So you have to be inventive. And if someone tells you you've gone halfway across the world, it's happened to me several times, and someone says that I'm not going to play ball, you have to suddenly get very serious and convey to these people you're not going to go away. Actually, be nicer for everyone around and just give them the story, shut up and get on with it. And do a lot of smiling and a bit flattery as well, which can help. Yes. Well, the geography was really helpful because it gives you a lot of fright. If you've pranced around, being a bird on stage or doing sort of crazy things in Edinburgh, it gives you a lot of confidence in yourself. And also gave me a fantastic background in the arts, which was really helpful. For my work now, particularly when I was at the BBC, because it's a great sort of, just very good hinterland. But I decided I didn't really want to work in theatre because I just felt it was too small for my vision. I wanted to have world dominance. And because I was also really interested in other people, actually, you know, I mean, I went on a submarine, they had this submarine, they invented a submarine, devised a submarine to go under the surface of Loch Ness once. And so I thought, well, I'll do a story about that. So I went up and I got into the submarine, which went flying over the surface of the loch, which is this phrase which my husband always said was ridiculous, and he said, you're not going to get a piece, but I did, so anyway, so I was sitting on the thing, and I see this woman who was holding a knitted version of Nessie up her arms. So I thought, okay, nutter. So I lifted her up. So I said, what's your name? And she said, it's Mary. I said, okay, what's your surname? She said, Christmas. I said, what, you're actually called Mary Christmas? She said, yes. So I said, have you got your passport with you? She said, yes, I have actually. So I thought, you used it to come to Scotland. So, you know, that summarises why I wanted to do drama, because really, I didn't want to be in this doing stuff, you know, there's such engaging and hilarious stories out there, you know, where else, how else would I ever got to have that experience? That was really why I was just interested in other stuff, and also I love newspapers, so that's a sort of dual thing. Right. And everyone smoked, and we all used typewriters and so on. So that was sort of old school, as it were. But actually, I've always done sort of multi-platform things. And after my first job at Tiny Teas, where I was on an arts programme, I then thought my career is going to be in the BBC Arts Unit. I will make omnibus, and I will edit Imagine, and I will lead this next thing on top. I didn't quite have it like that, because I went to an interview, I got down to some final interview for a job on omnibus, which was no longer now, but people, ancient people remember this arts programme, and I got completely stuck up a tree with David Hockney and said he was now himself was rubbish in the interview. And that went down really badly. I didn't get the job. Another terrible interview I had was when I went to somewhere and they said, what do you listen to on radio? So I listen to arts programs. I absolutely love arts programs. This is when I was at Hull. Never, obviously never listened to any arts program. He said, oh, what's the Radio 4 arts program called? This is so awful. Anyway, so I did get the omnibus job, and I ended up going to work on a show called This Morning, which at that time came from Liverpool and was presented by Richard and Judy. And I was a researcher on it, and oh my goodness, what a fantastic training that was. Because at any given morning you would have to deal with, you know, someone with a terrible terminal illness, 8 models in hot pants, and you know, David Cassidy, or some ancient pop star, and deal with Richard and Judy, not easy. But I started writing kind of backgrounders for them, which they would read, while they were having their clothes put on by someone called Ben Frau, who is now the controller of Channel 5. And lovely man, yeah, he was the dresser. So I would give these articles to Richard and Judy to write. Who did this? Anyway, and so I started writing, and I felt I needed to do other stuff, more important stuff, more sort of common stuff perhaps. And so a friend of mine said, well, look, just pitch stories in newspapers. And this is where the single line thing comes really handy, because we didn't have mobiles. So I think of a story, because I was the only person, you know, I was in the northwest, and so I find out some crazy art story happening in the Lake District or something. I knew that no one from London would be sent up to commission it, to write about it. So I could hide in the cloakroom, ring the Independent, and say, hi, I've got a fantastic story about an assemblage of wits happening in Alston, Village in the Lake District. And they would commission it, so then I'll go home, having spent all day dealing with pop stars and models, and then knock out these pieces and fax them in. So I always had the two things running together, which was really handy, because you got to know the editors, and actually newspaper editors and media editors across the board never seemed to go away, they just moved to different places. So if you get your contacts in really early and are not rude to them again, be polite, really important, because these do never go away, then you can actually manage a multifarious career quite well. I mean, at any one time I've got sort of little things going on which I do in a day, and then big stories going on which will take a week, and then really huge projects which might take 6 months, and then something which might take years. So it's a pyramid thing. And as long as you keep them all compartmentalised in the head, then it seems to work quite well. Anyway, I'll calm down.